right, level 4 appear to be the most difficult. Um, I'll show you why in a minute. And then, well, let me just start with the problem. Okay, here's the first problem. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so 16, the problem is 302.1 liters to cubic centimeters. Now, some really weird things you're going to notice. Here's what makes something a level 4 is that you are mixing liquid volume, just like in America, we measure liquid volume in like gallons or quarts um, or pints, but we measure solid volumes. Like if you're in the grocery store and you buy sugar, you don't buy it in cups, you buy it in pounds. Well, metric system has solid units, which are some kind of cubic units, and that comes from like geometry. Volume is length times width times height. For a rectangular solid, a centimeter times a centimeter times a centimeter is a cubic centimeter. And so when you have, on some level, I want this to bug the kids, that this is to the first power. You know, this guy's to the first power, this guy's to the third power, this is an L, this is an M. And so when that happens, when you have liquid volume and solid volume mixed, you have to know just these two, and they get to have them on their note card. Need to know that 1 liter is the same thing as a cubic decimeter. And so a decimeter is like the length of a standard deck of cards, and a cubic decimeter is a cube in which the length, the width, and the height are all a decimeter. And if you pour sand into a cubic decimeter, it would pour into a 1 liter pop bottle. And then the other thing is 1 milliliter is 1 cubic centimeter. And this is very important in the metric system. A 1-to-1 ratio means they're the same thing. So when you come up to this problem, we actually have to show the work. But if you look at this, what is a liter the same thing as? A liter is the same darn thing as a cubic decimeter. And so this problem is actually 302 cubic decimeters to centimeters, but we have to do it in bits. So after we do this step, then we say, okay, what does deci mean? 10 to the negative 1. What does centi mean? 10 to the negative 2. How far is it on a number line? From negative 1 to negative 2. Let me grab this eraser quick. I've got to give myself some room. One of these is 1 power of 10, because from negative 1 to negative 2, it's 1. We're number 1. Negative 1 is bigger. So we're number 1. You don't know what that means. That's something I say in class. So the bigger number goes with the 1. But again, notice these 3's, which means right now I have to cube this. And so we get 1 cubic decimeter is, and 1 times 3 is 3, 10 to the third cubic centimeters. And so what makes something a level 4 is when you copy down the original problem, 302.1 liters over 1, the first thing you have to use is one of these. And always use it on the given. 1 liter is a cubic decimeter. I did it real quick up here, but never change the ending, always change the beginning, because if they want the final answer in cubic centimeters, you have to give it to them in cubic centimeters. And then there you go, 1 cubic decimeter is on the top, so 1 cubic decimeter has to go on the bottom. And once you do this substitution up here, it turns into a level 2. And so 302.1 times 1,000, that's just going to move the decimal point over 3 places. So 1, 2, 3, and then this is cubic centimeters, or if you prefer scientific notation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also have 3.021 times 10 to the 5th cubic centimeters, and I think that's what's on the sheet. Okay, next one. We're almost done with this big giant 4-day worksheet. We have 822 cubic decimeters per second to milliliters per minute. And on some level, it needs to bug the kids that this is cubed and this is to the first power and this is an M and this is an L. And so what happens is anytime you have that situation, you have to use 1 cubic decimeter is a liter, or 1 cubic centimeter is a milliliter. And so if I come up here, this is the same thing as a liter, and now I have both to the first power and the L's match. And so so 1L is 10 to the 0, you're on the unit step, and ML is 10 to the negative 3. How far is it from 0 to negative 3? It is 3 powers of 10. What's the bigger thing? 10 to the 0 is bigger, so 1 goes with liter. And then 1 minute is 60 seconds, because that's the equality that relates these. And so when you do this problem, you have to write the original problem, 822 cubic decimeters per second. And then the first thing we do is use this conversion factor. 1 cubic decimeter is a liter. So level 4, first step has to be one of these two. And now liter is on the top, so 1 liter goes on the bottom, and 10 to the third milliliters goes up. And then 1 second is on the bottom, so 60 seconds goes up, and 1 minute goes down, and seconds cancels with seconds. And 822 times 1,000 times 60, 4.93 times 10 to the 7th milliliters per minute. I think we got more places than that, but this only has 3 sig figs, so we had to round. Okay, so again, what makes something a level 4 is that it mixes solid volume and liquid volume. So 18, we got 0.78 liters per minute, 2 cubic centimeters per second. This is a flow rate. Again, on some level, this is to the first power, this is to the third power. This L doesn't match this M. This needs to bug them. They need to realize that this is a cubic decimeter, because 1 liter is a cubic decimeter, or 1 milliliter is a cubic centimeter. And now deci, switching to a different color, deci is 10 to the negative 1, centa is 10 to the negative 2. How far is it from negative 1 to negative 2? 1. What's bigger? Negative 1. And again, on some level, now these are 3, so now I have to cube this. And so 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. A decimeter times a decimeter is a decimeter is a cubic decimeter. 1 times 3 is 3, so 10 to the third cubic centimeters. That's the top. The bottom is 1 minute is 60 seconds. Again, you write down the original problem. So, oops. Grab the eraser. We got 0.78 liters per 1 minute. And then 1 liter is 10 to the, 1 liter is, I've been taping for too long. I start to get to be spacey, I'm sorry. 1 liter is a cubic decimeter. That's what makes it a level 4. Now decimeters on the top, so 1 cubic decimeter is 1,000 cubic centimeters. This cancels this. And now minute is on the bottom, so 1 minute is on the top, is 60 seconds. And if in the calculator you put 0.78 times 1,000 divided by 60, because everything else is ones. Okay, so there's my calculator. Here's clear. So 0.7, clear. 0.78 times 1,000 divided by 60, or times 60. Nope, divided by 60. Oops. 10 to the, I didn't do the third. Divided by 60 equals 13 exactly, and that is what the answer sheet says. So 13. This cancels this. Cubic centimeters per second. 19.95 kilograms per milliliter to milligrams per cubic millimeter. And again, on some level, this is to the first power, this is to the third power, this is an L, this is an M. And so what makes something a level 4 is that you have to use one of these conversion factors right off the bat. So this is the same thing as a cubic centimeter. And so now they're both to the third power. Okay, let's do the top first. Kilo is 10 to the third. Milli is 10 to the negative 3. How far is it on a number line from negative 3 to positive 3? 6. What's bigger? 10 to the third. 1 kilogram is a million milligrams. That's the top. The top is to the first power. Bottom, centa is 10 to the negative 2. Milli is 10 to the negative 3. How far is it on a number line from negative 2 to negative 3? 1. What's bigger? Negative 2. So 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. But now these are cubes, so we can't forget that after we get this, we have to cube it. So 1 cubic centimeter equals 10 to the third, because 3 times 1 is 3 cubic millimeters. And then let's do the original problem in blue, 0.95 kilograms per milliliter. This is an applied one. Always go back to the original problem. Got to use this first. 1 milliliter is 1 cubic centimeter. And now it's kilograms per cubic centimeter, just like I showed you up there. And then kilograms is on the top in the original problem. So 1 kilogram is 10 to the 6th milligrams. And then, so this cancels this. And then cubic centimeter is on the bottom. So 1 cubic centimeter is 10 to the third cubic millimeters. And if I do 0.95 divided by, or times 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the third, I actually end up with 950 milligrams per cubic millimeter. And I was being very evil here. Oh, no, I wasn't. That has 2 sig figs, and this has 2 sig figs. There's 3 rows for sig figs. If it's not a 0, it's significant. Final zeros after the decimal point are significant. That's before. And sandwich zeros mean sandwiches zeros between 2 lines. So this has 2 sig figs, and that has 2 sig figs. So life is good. And then finally 0.848 kilograms per liter to milligrams per cubic centimeter. And again, the top's not bugging me because this is a G, this is a G, and they're both to the first power, but the bottom's really bugging me because this is to the first power, this is to the third power, this is an L, this is an M. So I have to use this first. And I'm going to lightly do it right here so that I can just get all my conversion factors. Okay, kilo is 10 to the positive 3. Milli is 10 to the negative 3. How far is it from positive 3 to negative 3? 6. And then what's bigger? Kilogram, milligram, everything's to the first power, so we're okay on the top. On the bottom, decile is like a dime. It's 10 to the negative 1. Centa is like a cent. It's 10 to the negative 2. How far is it from negative 1 to negative 2? Just 1. What's bigger? Negative 1. So 1 decimeter is 10 centimeters, just like 1 dime is 10 cents. But because of these 3's, we got to cube the conversion factor. So 1 cubic decimeter is 1,000, because 1 times 3 is 3 cubic centimeters. And so when we go to write the original problem, which is 0.848 kilograms per liter, the first thing we have to do is use this. 1 liter is 1 cubic decimeter. And then kilograms is on the top, so 1 kilogram goes down, 10 to the 6 milligrams goes up, and then cubic decimeters on the bottom, so 1 cubic decimeter goes up, and 10 to the third cubic centimeters goes down. And so we end up with milligrams over cubic centimeters, which is what we're trying to get. 848 times a million divided by 10 to the third is going to be 848 milligrams per cubic centimeter. And that's it.